Greetings and salutations, wonderful people. My name is Scribe, and welcome back to the Elder Scrolls 1 Arena. Where we last left off, we managed to escape the Imperial Dungeon. We got to Old Falls, and right as we were going to go take a rest after all of that stressful dungeon crawling, we got a mission to escort this fine gentle elf to the new provisions. Now, this is a wonderful time for me to explain how random quests work and the quest system of Arena. Before I do that, though, I would like to address a couple things that I forgot to cover in the first video while we kind of go through the town and try to figure out where we need to go. So, one thing I forgot to mention is why I found the rats to be more deadly than the goblins. Aside from the obvious reasons. Goodness gracious. The thing that makes rats so dangerous, in my opinion, is their disease. They are capable of making you diseased, which can very well mean that you are going to die. So I have gotten trapped in a dungeon before, trying to escape it and go to a town, purely because I was diseased and I would die every time I tried to leave. It's not fun necessarily when that happens, but this is why Cure Disease is necessary. So that's why I find them to be more deadly. I also forgot to explain basically the lore and the setup of the story. So, about 500 years ago, a man named Tiber Septim conquered all of Tamriel. That is the continent we are on. In the first game, they try to say that the continent is called the Arena, but that's mostly just to explain the mistakes made and situation that revolved around Arena's release. So I mentioned in part 1 that it was originally a gladiator game. I also mentioned in the description that it was a gladiator game that the developers found to be kind of boring. And that's because they basically decided to include side quests in the game, and then they found that they enjoyed the side quests more than they enjoyed the actual gladiator part. So they switched gears and decided to make Arena a fully open world type game with dungeons and side quests, etc. Well, in the process of doing that, they ended up already having the material for Arena made. So what ended up happening is they just put the Elder Scrolls on top to make it sound more like an RPG than the Arena game it was. Fantastic. We love that. I'm going to save just very quickly in case that leveled me up. Here we go. Wonderful. So that's necessarily the history of the Elder Scrolls. We can go rest now. So that's part of why they call it the Arena. The continent is called Tamriel. Tamriel has, I believe, 9 provinces, something like that. Yes, 9 provinces. 8 sections with a race assigned to each of them, and then the middle is the Imperial Province. This is where the Imperials are in the later part of the games, but for now, they didn't have that yet. So, what this means is the empire that Tiber Septim established 500 years ago has had total hegemony over Tamriel. How they did that is explored in Daggerfall and to an extent in Morrowind. So that's part of it. So what happened is... Here we are. So what happened is Tiber Septim has a descendant, Uriel Septim VII, and that is basically the main character of the Elder Scrolls games, at least until Oblivion. He is the main character. Everything we do is for the Emperor. So, what we're trying to do is we're trying to rescue the Emperor from Jagar Tharn, which I explained in the first part. But anyway, let's go ahead and rest. We will talk to Ria Silmane, and we will spend the next day explaining the quest system as I do them. Alright, so we want to rest. We want to rest for about 20 hours.
I see you have strengthened your arm and your mind. It is time we began this journey. This is the Staff of Chaos, the one item that can open the door between this world and the dimension to which the Emperor has been banished. Tharn used this item to destroy my corporeal form when I tried to warn the Council. He knew that the Staff of Chaos was nigh indestructible, having been made from the essence of the land itself. But in that he found the key. As the land is split, so did he shatter the staff into 8 perfectly formed pieces. These he scattered across the realms. I have been able to divine the location of the first piece, a place called Fang Lair. It is said that Fang Lair was originally built by the dwarves of Kragan. Legend has it that a great worm drove the dwarves from their home in the Dragon's Teeth and took the lair for itself. I only wish I knew the exact location. Perhaps there are sages or scholars who would know of this place. Somewhere in its dank depths lies the first piece of the Staff of Chaos. I wish you well. I do not think Tharn knows of your escape, but I can do little else in this form. I have tried to obscure your identity with a spell, but I do not know how well it will hide you. Take care, for Tharn may be searching. Go forth with the blessings of the true Emperor, and myself.
Alright, so with Ria Silmane talked to us, we are able to understand where we need to go. We need to go to Fang Lair, and we need to acquire the first piece of the Staff of Chaos. Now, while that's very important, we have a problem. You see, Caetheryn doesn't have a lot of materials on hand to go about this grand empire-saving trek, so she is not going to do this. Instead, she is going to do some odd jobs, make a name for herself, and become the person that can save the Emperor. So we're going to be doing some random quests to kind of demonstrate them, and then we're going to try to get a palace quest. So there are, in my opinion, 4 kinds of quests. There is the main quest. There is the... Oh, that's lovely. So there's the main quest. There is an artifact quest, a tavern quest, and a palace quest. So we're doing the tavern quest, and basically what you can do is you can talk to any of these fine people, ask them rumors about work, and they'll basically explain, if you're close enough to the tavern, they'll basically explain that, hey, there's this person, they're looking for people, and it's in this inn. Well, this is the Rusty Pit. This is where we were last time. So let's head inside. Let's get a mission. Before you reach the bar, a notably peculiar lady called Silas signals to you and speaks in a conspiratorial whisper. It is imperative that this sacred icon be delivered to Brotherhood of Justice by Tertus III of Hearthfire. Yes, so we need to go to the Brotherhood of Justice. Alright, so now what you need to do is when you start a tavern quest, you can just kind of ask around. We are right next to a temple. I don't believe this is going to be the Brotherhood of Justice, but in case it is, it is. Quests can be this easy, of course. I should probably save, because this is going to end the quest. Fantastic. Let's go over here. Where are you, sir? Ignore the crucifix. This doesn't really become important. Also, I believe the intention is that this is supposed to be an Ankh. But, obviously, the crucifix does not have any bearing on the lore of the Elder Scrolls because, Jesus Christ is not some person in the Elder Scrolls. Hello? Thank you. Thank you kindly. Ooh, we did level up. Nice. 6 points of health and 5 bonus points. Now, normally I would just be rather stingy until I got the extra point, but this is a really good first roll. I'm impressed. This never happens. All right. Wonderful. All right, so we have 150 magicka now. We have an extra 6 health. And our magic spells are even cheaper to cast now. So as you can see, it was 35 last time. It is now 23, so 12 points cheaper. That is fantastic. It's wonderful even. All right. So that was one quest. Now, you may be thinking, well, what's the other type of things that a tavern quest could be? It's just that tavern quests, you go to a quest, or you go to an inn, a quest giver in a tavern. The people can help you find where that tavern is. They ask you to either collect something and bring it back to them. So, for example, if we were to retrieve something from the Brotherhood of Justice, we would then have to immediately walk back and give it there, and then we would get our reward. Or what we just did, which is take something there. Now, what really changes the quest is the flavor text, is basically what that changes. So it can be, I need you to deliver my ward here, I need you to take this sacred icon or something, but the only thing that changes really in the grand scheme of things is how much gold you get, and of course, ooh, can I get 50? Yeah, there we go. Alright, so that's really all that changes with the tavern quest. I will explain palace quests when we get one. But this is lovely. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over to the Mages Guild because we have acquired a fair little coin purse. and we are going to acquire some much needed materials. For being a magician, being a mage, it is a little difficult because to get started as a mage requires just so much money and work, really. So this building in Summerset is what the Mages Guild looks like. So you can walk right over here. You can also see the Mages Guild logo right here. This symbol would continue to be the Mages Guild symbol all the way up to, I believe, Oblivion, but definitely until Morrowind. So the wonderful thing about the Mages Guild is it covers all of your spellcasting needs. Here we are. So we can go over here, and we can either make a spell, or we can buy. Now, for our purposes, we're gonna need some Restore Power potions. This is going to be essential. So I can explain how the bartering system works. So basically, you say, hello, I would like to have a potion of Restore Power, please. And they ask, well, how many would you like? And I'm gonna say we want 7. Now, obviously, we don't have 520 gold, so I'm going to say, how about you give it to me for 300 gold? Okay, that's not going to work, and we don't have the money to really get that, so we're going to ask, hey, what about 5 Restore Power potions? Okay, that's something. What if you give it to me for only 300 gold? Alright, so then now we're kind of in the ballpark where we can start bartering down. So what you can do is you can just keep saying, hello, I would like it for 300. And in my experience, this might be different for you, the Mages Guild vendors are the pushovers of this game, where the equipment store vendors are much more obstinate and stubborn, and they will make sure you can't get exactly the price you ask for. Mages Guild, you just keep saying it a couple times, and they eventually just cave like this. The Archmage will murder me for my soft heart, but the potion of Restore Power is yours. I will agree to your price if you still wish it. And yes, I do. Wonderful. 5 Restore Power potions. That is 125 magicka that we get to have back without resting. So this is the general experience that I have of playing a mage, which is just acquiring money, spending it here, and bullying the mages into giving me discounts because of my forced personality. I am a stubborn and proud Altmer, and I will get exactly what I want at the price I ask for it, or as close as possible. So we could do more of these quests. However, I would prefer not, because as lovely as leveling until like level 5 would be nice, I would prefer to actually do something substantial. So we're gonna go and we're gonna try and do a palace quest. So what we do is you can say, hey, yeah, go to the King's Pit, there's this. We're not going to do that work. Instead, what we're going to do is we are going to spend the remainder of our gold, 10 gold of it, basically over half, and we are going to rest, and we are going to drop a save beforehand so that I can get a palace quest. Now, it's important to understand that tavern quests are the default. They are what you always have failing a palace quest. Palace quests have a percentage chance. Now, around level 20, you will only get palace quests, but until then, you have a 5% chance per level. So in our case, at our grand level of the Unstoppable 3, we only get a 15% chance to level. Now this means that we do not have a guaranteed chance. Now, I've had a lot of luck with instant palace quests. I've had a game where I exited Fang Lair at, like, I believe level 4 or something, because I had stuck around to get loot, and I entered the city and I immediately had a palace quest. I beelined to the palace, and they immediately hired me, which I think is hilarious. So we're going to drop a save, and then we're going to cut to when I get a palace quest. So we're going to save right here. And, yeah, what time is it right now in game? Yes, this will be lovely. So we're going to... Ah, I see. You already... Yes, rest is long, 3 hours. I guess I did pay for 24 hours. I get 24 hours. Lovely. Get a room, please. Yes, and in this instance, I'm going to ask that you give it to me for 7 gold. Yes, perfect. Okay, that's not too bad. All right. So we are going to... Actually, while I have this active, why don't I just drop a save? Yes, this is more intelligent. Saves me from having to immediately go in there and explain everything. Again, I'd be like, can you give this to me for 7 gold, please? Alright, wonderful. We're gonna rest for 20 hours. Alright, 20 hours have passed, so we spent 2 days in Old Falls. And we're going to go check out if we got a palace quest. Now, it is very easy to tell if you... Oh! I forgot about that one. Okay, so holidays can happen. I'm very upset that I didn't realize that that is when that holiday was. Because I could have gotten 10 restore power potions instead of 5. Okay. Alright, well, that didn't happen, as you can see, so, Miss Editor, please cut to when I get a palace quest. This is gonna take a while. Oh, thank goodness. Alright, so she doesn't have any work, which is fantastic news for us because, you see, when you don't have work, don't fret. It doesn't mean that there are no quests at all in this city. Instead, what it means is that there is a palace quest. So we need to go into the palace. So I have already been to the palace before, and that's okay. But for your pleasure, welcome to Palace. It is the busiest season of the year in Old Falls, and the palace's audience chamber is filled with area farmers discussing their harvest with Lord Caramon. Many linger in the room after their business is through, procrastinating the return to the burning fieldwork. They seem to be talking mostly about Old Falls being suddenly at war with its nearest neighbor, Kingshaven, and how this will change the trade throughout the province. Alright, so now we get to go in here and get our first palace quest. I hope you are looking for work because I need to find somebody who can do the job right. I am a generous lord, and you will be more than fairly paid if you would slay something for me. Oh, goody, goody. We love these missions. Will you help me? Of course, sir. Dispagus. The Minotaur has fallen upon my lands like a plague. In the past, Dispagus has terrorized the largest city-states and the humblest villages in the province, but I want its life to end here, in its lair to the southwest. Kill it by Tertus 24th of Hearthfire, or it will feed on the people celebrating my annual festival. Imagine the political embarrassment. For a reward of 300 gold, are you strong enough to challenge Dispagus? Well, even if I wasn't, 300 gold is a lot of restore power potions. Excellent. I've inscribed the location of the place on your map of Tamriel. Use that to guide you. Good luck to you, Caetheryn. May your mission be a success. Okay, so this is one type of palace quest. See, unlike tavern quests, palace quests are the way to go because they have the most variety in the entire 4-tier quest system. You see, the main quest has a lot of variety, mostly because you're having to find the location of where you need to go, and then the actual dungeon itself can be rather different, and that's really fun and enjoyable, but palace quests come the closest to keeping that refreshing nature of arena quests where it doesn't feel repetitive. So this particular type of quest is very simple. We need to go to a dungeon, which I believe is no more than 2 floors, and we need to kill something down there. In this case, Dispagus the Minotaur. So how do you travel in arena? Well, it's very simple. You just hit shift, then the M key, and this will open the Empire of Tamriel. So we can't go to the Imperial Province. Well, we could, but it would be suicide. And we don't want to go anywhere here yet. Instead, we go to Summerset, and right over here is Dispagus' lair. So we're going to go there. We will arrive by the 12th of Hearthfire. Now, this means that we have 12 days in the dungeon to kill him. Now, it's very important to understand that the quest basically ends as soon as you have killed Dispagus, because remember, the reason we're trying to kill him at that specific date is because he will feast on people during the festival. Well, if he's dead, he can't do that. So if we travel back after killing him, even if it's the 25th of Hearthfire, we still killed him. So we'll still get the reward because, well, we killed him by that date. He didn't eat anybody. So we're going to travel. All right. Now we're going to draw our weapon, and we're going to start dungeon crawling. Now, before we do anything, it is imperative that we save. So we're going to take this. We're just going to put in Dispagus' lair. Start. Fantastic. Okay, now I don't think we're going to be able to go through the entire dungeon, but we can at least go through part of it. Now, we're going to be dungeon crawling in a very similar method across basically most of the dungeons, and that is we are going to simply be looking for loot piles. Uh-oh. I hear the greatest danger to us, which is the rat. If we are diseased, there is a very specific chance that we might not be able to complete the quest because we will simply die before we can get to safety. And that simply will not do. Unfortunately, I wish I had a staff, but I forgot to pick one up. Now, if you're wondering, how do you find the Minotaur? Well, when you get near the Minotaur, you'll get a little pop-up that will tell you that it's nearby. Now, how I like to play Morrowind is not Morrowind, goodness me. How I like to play Arena is I like to go around the map, specifically sticking to the north and then picking a direction, west or east, and then sticking there to try and figure out how big the dungeon is. Now, this area might be pretty big, but as long as we keep mapping it, it should be fine. We're level 3, so we shouldn't be dealing with anything too crazy. In fact, the Minotaur itself might be the most dangerous part. Oh, goodness gracious,
With you died our last hope for justice.
Fiends. Okay. Now, I was in... Oh, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Okay. Perhaps I misunderstood exactly what they would be throwing at me. Well, you know... Okay, so we only have 4 restore power potions left. That is not great. Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
With you...
See what this does. That's useful. Well, we appear to be in a bit of a bind. We shall continue dungeon crawling in just a bit. In fact, I dare say we will continue in the next episode. Well, when we enter the next episode, we shall be dealing with this dungeon and hopefully slaying the Minotaur Dispagus. Well, I will see you in the next exciting episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you soon, you lovely people.